Tonight we're going to go over the kinship. Finish up with it, but I know some of it can be a little bit confusing whenever you get into that brother and sister kind of relationship. That's kind of where some of the terms change. It's easy whenever you put it's better when you put yourself in kind of like a family tree. So what Zach's writing up here, we'll go around the room. Anybody wants to volunteer? If it's confusing for you, you put yourself in this, you kind of see the relationships, what I'm talking about, it tends to kind of stick a little bit more. So we'll get into that. While Zach's writing that, I'll go over the terms. So we went over kinship terms last week. So we got the my kinship terms. So those of you who were here, so we have a review. Those of you who were gone, if you got questions, let us know. We'll start with the top one. I did it. Everybody say that? I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. This one, some of these kinship terms, some of the words that we went over throughout this semester, new to people, some of them have held on. This one is one that's held on right here. I did it. Means my mother or my aunt. So anybody that you call aunt in English, this is what you're going to give them. I did it. I did it. Then the your kinship terms, a lot of these we haven't heard except these two, but we'll get into that. But the your mother, your aunt, us's. Can I say that? Us's. Us's. Anybody ever heard that? Okay. Little new, your mother. So I'm talking to Zach, asking about his mom, his aunt, whatever. I'll use the us's. The next one, the my father or paternal uncle. We'll get into that. Everybody, Adias. See that one, again, that one's caught on. Those of you here with the Pawnee prayer, oh my gosh, I should have. I gotta plug my computer in, so hold on. Now the star chart. The sacred Pawnee star chart right here. Okay, here we go. Back on. Okay, those are here last week for our prayer. That's what we talked about. Atias, Tinawa, Atias, Tinta. We went over both of those terms. That one, going on strong, the language. Now we got the your kinship term. South Bend, us. If I say that, us. Or you kind of blend those two sounds if you want. Us. But it's like a longer us. Skeety, got the H in there. Us or us. Your father or just paternal uncles, which means your dad's brothers. We'll get into the other ones. So your father or your uncle on your paternal side, so your dad's brothers. In my case, it's going to be Ron Moore, Steve Moore. That's who I'm going to call. Matthias. Okay, grandmother, grandfather. This is kind of where we don't really hear this often, but we hear this, right? We all hear Ucka. Ucka Adson over here. I still call her Ucka. Ucka Moore too. I'm trying to flip it. Atika. I don't know if you notice. Ucka. Okay, you notice when I do that. Kunky, a little bit. Kunky. Okay, I'll do it more often. Atika. So everybody say Atika. Atika. My grandmother. Those of you who were talking about last week, this Ati part right here, this ATI, that's our my. Talking about my. So that's kind of what we link to. My grandmother. So now we're used to Ucka, right? Everybody say Ucka. is your grandmother. That's what that actually means, your grandmother. So when I'm talking to dads in here, saying Ucka, I'm really not making sense, but that's so common now that's what I know her as. Does that make sense? Okay, so I should really be saying Atika, so I'm going to try that from now on. Atika. So everybody say Atika. Atika. Ucka. And we've seen it spelled a bunch of ways. U-C-C-A, that's kind of the common one I've seen. U-C-C-I-T, Ucket. So that's that glottal stop right here. It's just cutting off that sound. Ucka. Ucka. It's cutting that off, so some people say Ucket. Same kind of thing. My grandfather, Adipa. And then your grandfather, Uppa. See, we're used to spelling that one. U-P-P-I-T, A-P-A-T. Oh, that one. U-P-A-H, A-H-P-U-T. I've seen it spelled that way. A lot of ways to say that. Uppa, Ucka. Uppa, Ucka. That's what we're used to. We can try to get that back. Just try to sprinkle that in. It's hard. It's going to be tough. I'll just say that. It's going to be tough to try to go back to Adipa, Atika. Anybody hear these ones growing up? These ones right here. A little bit. Adipa, Atika. Like Zach and I were talking about last week, we kind of heard it was like a child's way of saying it. But when we get into it, that's our your. And we did that little exercise last week when with James, Zach, and myself, kind of how we thought that change happened, why it happened. It's kind of Zach and I's thought. That's a little theory going on. So. Everybody, Atika, Adipa, Ucka, Uppe. Okay, so the next one, niece or nephew. Diwa, right? This one held on to Diwa. We hear that a lot. Diwa. We should erase this right here because they're both the same. Diwa. We don't really hear this anymore, right? Awa. Everybody say that. Awa. Awa. Again, that's your kinship term. Most likely we're going to hear, I'm talking to Zach about his nephews. Hey, how's your Diwat's doing? That's how in English, that's what we do it. That's how we do it. I've heard it a lot, but I really should be saying Awa. How they doing? Awa. And we put this, we didn't put it up here, but we'll put it up here. We think this is a male-only term. A male-only term. Back then. Right now we hear both men and women say it, but the reason we think this is a male term is because our mother and aunts were calling them a dida. It just seems right. They're going to call you son or daughter. They're not going to call you. I'm calling him a dida. I'm calling him mom. And they're, oh, hey, nephew or niece. You're going to call me son. Does that make sense? So that's kind of why we're leaning towards this as a male term, and then Parks had a little note beside it, male only, or a masculine term, or something like that. They had something like that, so that kind of made sense when you start thinking about it that way. Everybody with me so far?
Okay, I was asking Amy, when did people stop? When they became a grandma or a grandpa, telling their kids, don't call me that, call me this. When did they quit? When did they become like that? Or do you see it in the research that every time someone became a grandma or grandpa, that's what they were known as, Everybody used that. Because I was like, well, my grandma Velma, none of us ever called her Ucka. And like today, I'm like, I know different ones in my generation be like, don't call me Ucka, and I'm like, I was so proud to be called that when I became a grandma. And anyway, I
Yeah.
just wonder, you know, I was
Right.
thinking, why did Grandma Velma not want to be called that, or,
It's
and my grandpa Peters, none of us called him a bit, none of us did.
It's how society, our Pawnee society has changed, because that, what I was told is that upit, atipit, however you say it, uka, atika, that was a sign of respect for those individuals. But now we frown upon it like, oh, those guys are old, you know,
Yeah.
old up in status, old, you know, that kind of stuff. But back then, that, you know, if you got to live to be that age,
Yeah.
you was somebody.
Yeah, so it's probably just like an English connotation. I would say up and up as in English you're old, you know, like, but it's not that way in the Pawnee thought. That makes sense. And then
Yeah.
when we think that this happened, this change happened, boarding school eras, we were getting forced to speak English. So it was a generation that knew, they were fluent. This next generation was kind of a little bit both, and this next generation was English only. They didn't understand those subtle, adipa, my, upit, your. That makes sense. So it's just the boarding school era. They really messed us up with our language, culture, a lot of stuff, you know. But we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So that's what's good about this class is we get to kind of inform you guys what Zach and I have learned, research. Any other questions? It's a good question. Gaki? Okay, so we've talked about the uncle on the maternal side. So in my case, Uncle Herb right here. I'm calling him Diwa Chicks. It should be a Chuck. We have to put that. Chuck. Diwa Chicks. Everybody said that. Diwa Chicks. Yeah. That one too has survived. Diwa. A lot of these kinship terms have survived. Diwa Chicks. So if I had Uncle Herb, Uncle Frank, and I had Ron and Steve, I'm calling them Diaz, I'm calling these guys Diwa Chicks. And the funny thing is on that side, I don't call them Uncle Ron, Uncle Steve. I just call it Ron and Steve, but on this side I call it Uncle Herb and Uncle Frank. I don't know why. The old Pawnee thought, I guess. But I don't know why it's always been. Just call it Nancy, you know. I don't go by the N on that side. I don't know why. Got caught the like that. Just a weird thought. Okay, Diwa Chicks. Your uncle on your mom's side, so Bud Chicks. Bud Chicks. Bud Chicks. Diwa Chicks. Bud Chicks. Good. Question on that one? We talked about that last week.
Hey,
Good.
you know, 'cause we called my Uncle Frank Batiste.
Oh, okay. So you're getting there. Budsy.
Batiste.
Oh yeah, right here. So what's that? You're just putting that last part. You're just cutting the last part. But good. Anybody else?
I heard it a few times, but I didn't ever really know. I knew it meant uncle, but I didn't know
In what way?
that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that blue book. You have your blue book? I think it has that Budsy in it. I think it has that, and it says yeah, instead of uncle, which would make sense because it's cutting it off, uncle. But it's in that blue book. Yeah. Good kids. Okay, my sister of a male. So if I had a sister, not here today. Last time Ray was here. South Bend, Itali. Everybody, Itali. Ski, Itali. Itali. Your sister or male, adopt, adopt. I've heard the idali, I never heard the adopt before. Sister or male, the same sex sibling, so male to male, female to female, idali. Everybody, idali. That was a really common one. Nowadays, you only see it as the men saying it. You hardly ever see the female saying it to another female. You guys heard that before? Kind of rare. So I encourage the females to use that idadi, just like how the male uses idadi. Then the brother of a female, idotsti. Idotsti. Remember, this is that TS sound. Idotsti. Oh, I'll go back to it. Adots. Adots. This one, adot, which is in that blue book as well as love, baby, love, sis. Yeah. Adot. Yeah, which makes sense with that butsy. You're cutting that. Yeah.
So how is that used? Because I've never fully grasped that. I've heard it, but I've never fully grasped it by looking at that book.
When you look at it in the blue book, it kind of just
To me, that's like me calling you.
yeah.
But
With the research we've done, this is more of the your form. But when that book was written, there were still speakers left, so I'm assuming they, helped with that. So I would say it was making a change right there as a short for an audio. That's my own thinking. Is that going to add anything to that? Mark?
Yeah. Could be because you see it in those other groups, right? Okay.
Yeah.
so like that butsy, when I heard that, I just assumed that, I knew it meant uncle, but I didn't know that you're.
Yeah, so your.
So that would be like me telling you your uncle.
Mhm.
And the same thing with that I'd be saying like your brother.
Yeah, so say we were talking, right? We're talking about something. I say, Decatur, who is it? Or who?
Yeah.
You say, Budget's Herb, your Uncle Herb. That in this case, but in that blue book, it's
Close,
Budsy.
like
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
that.
Same thing with the other. I'm talking to you, Decatur. You're talking about that. That. Same kind of instance. It's just whenever our research, we've been researching this for a while. This is the your column.
So when you say sibling, you just mean blood? No.
No. I would. Yeah. Like Indian siblings, I guess, like not necessarily blood related. Calls that out another time. So. Any other questions? Questions on these terms? Okay. Who do we need to get to? Grandchild. Nutiki. Nutiki. Oh, it's grandchild. Can't really see that. Grandchild. Okay, so there's a slight difference. Nutiki. It's real subtle. If I was talking fast, you probably wouldn't hear it. Nutiki. Otherkiss. Your grandchildren. Otherkiss. I think I got question on those?
Yes.
Got
Say that, I know that.
Otherkiss. It's talking about your grandchildren. Say, yeah, not yours. So say, yeah, you're talking to them. Otherkiss. Their grandchildren.
Mine.
Yours, that tiki. Yeah, that tiki. So when we go into our prayer, you got grandkids, you could add that to be more specific. Guess they want the tiki, their name, or you can say the tiki. if you wanted to kind of personalize that prayer to her 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Do we know why this one doesn't have a gender specific? It's just grandchild,
Grandchild,
grandson, or granddaughter?
yeah, I don't know, we haven't found one for just grandson or granddaughter.
Same way people up this and that.
Yeah, same thing with
Oh, yes,
Diwal.
that's right.
Diwal, nephew or niece. Any other questions? Kaki. See if this is
I have a question.
Okay.
Just about your, well, you're talking about your kinships and, always heard that like teasing relationships with your relatives are different. Like you're not supposed to tease your uncles, I think it is.
Oh, I won't her. We were talking about this last
But you
week.
could tease your grandmas or grandparents.
You wanna add to that?
No, she's right, that's what we talked about last week, and what I heard, is that uncle was a real special person. They wrote that word down, that it was serious, that first part is like a little part of, heaven, heavenly, second part is more of like a person. But I heard, that's how much reverence he had for the uncle. I heard kind of a real reverent person. And he was the one that taught you things, or either had to correct you or whatever, but you didn't tease him. Then your aunt, that's the same word as your mom, so that's the way you treated her. But the grandpa and the grandma that we did, I told my son, my own grandpa, that's all I did was tease him. Because that's all he did with me, he just teased me right as soon as I woke up, That's the job of it. That's the way it is, I keep that way with my own grandkids, tease them hard, and they tease me back. Yeah, that's what I heard you same way.
Okay, I was just curious, and then like we were up around the Rickarods and they, one of the aunts up there was teasing the grandson, but she was calling him her little sweetheart. Oh, you're my little sweetheart, come over here, give me a kiss, She was kind of really teasing him like that, and then he got real embarrassed and things like that, so that's why I was just wondering, like, if that's kind of the similar thing with their teasing relationship, kind of like that. That's how she was teasing her grandson. So that's why I was just wondering.
We had that too. I mean, it's kind of not done too much anymore. She says that to me. She says she calls me her boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know this.
But there were some older women around here. They used to call me their husband. Some of the Fields girls were the ones, And when I was little, I was embarrassed. I was like, but my grandpa told me that's serious, that's meaningful, that they think of you. Because they do that because they'd say like, maybe they're by themselves or whatever, and they need help, like getting wood or carrying their chairs and stuff. They think that much of you that they would call you that because you were taking that place that you would help them in that time. So now as a younger person, I thought, yeah, but that's part of where that has kind of died out or whatever, And same thing like they said with the seriousness of the uncle. When they told me that you don't tease your uncle at all. That's how serious. They
Only your mother's brother, or
That
any
was
of
all,
us?
for me, I was to all
Any of them?
uncles. So I was all uncles. Because that uncle might get on to you or whatever, but they will never let you down. If there was something that you need, they was always gonna, like a father figure, And same thing with the aunt, the mother. You were supposed to never mistreat your aunts, because if your mom's gone, that next oldest sister takes her place. That's why we don't have aunt. They're all mother. So. But that other part, was talking about that I don't hear it no more. I just hear her say that to me, but I don't hear any other women say that. But that's what they used to do.
The oldest oldest sister I was told that the oldest sister of the family is what we call the house. I don't know if you've heard that, but I was told that's the house. She's the oldest, she's going to take care of the siblings, the nieces and nephews.
And I don't know if you talked about this or not, but there's another deal. The Skeeties is a little different, and I never really kind of fully understood that. But so it rotates. So like Lucy Pratt was my grandpa's aunt, and I called her grandma because she was elderly, right? But she'd always get on to me. She'd say, "I'm your aunt," and I never could fully understand. I said, "How is she your aunt and then my aunt too?" You know. So I asked her one day. I said, and she'd always say, "Quit calling me grandma," you know. And I was like, "Okay." I said, "So tell me how this works." And I was trying to understand it, but so the older women were knowledgeable. They knew things more than the younger ones. So somewhere in there, it would go like aunt, grandma, aunt, you know, kind of revert back or whatever, because how she explained it to me. Now that she's the elder in that age, I have to respect her as an aunt because she's knowledgeable. Like I have to respect her as my mother. So that was something I don't know if you guys know that or not. But I never could fully understand that much, but the Skeeties had something different on that. So South Bend didn't have it as far as I knew, but
Yeah. See, what you
And it's all good.
yeah.
So now you have to research it.
Yeah, we kind of just touched on it one time, and we're still trying to figure it out ourselves too. It's a good one.
At a corn blessing about a year ago, it was Laura May. She was talking about how when, after your grandmother, when it becomes your great-grandmother, it's your aunt. And it really made sense to
Yeah.
me because the matriarch of our family was Lotta's walking bear fancy eagle, and everybody called her auntie. She was known as auntie.
I think that's right along with that one that she's talking about. Where, you know, we didn't have great grandmas or great grandpas.
Yeah.
And I think that's where
Yeah, that's where.
so where it goes to auntie. So, and how it worked out that way, you know, she was, you know, up there in age, right? But she was knowledgeable, so that's how I tried to respect her as that. But I never heard of the South Bands doing that. So, and I asked about it, and no one knew things.
So when your aunts and uncles, white man's way, marry,
They have no
so
ways.
what is that? What is that? I mean, what is, and they might not be Pawnee. So do you Pawnee way with them too, or what? How does that become?
There's in-laws terms, right?
Yeah, all
There's
these
there's
in-laws.
in-law terms, we just don't cover
It's
that.
confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we gotta keep it, but
I mean, like treating them and joking with them and stuff like that, and
I
Oh.
do. I just for myself.
yeah.
Not for my son-in-law. My son-in-law is more family honorable. I heard we don't have nothing to do with her. Well, my mother-in-law,
Daughter-in-laws.
I don't have nothing to do with her. Say hi, shake her hand, that's it. Nothing to do with her. I don't visit with her. I told my wife that when we got married, we'll go all the way, but I heard our Pawnees, we don't do anything with them, so. That way I could get along with them all the time. They don't have to second guess me. What's this guy, what's that he up to? I don't. I stay away from them. See him, greet him, that's it.
But
My
son-in-law's
son-in-law
different.
the same way.
Oh, even your
I
son.
visit with them a little bit, you know, but I don't have much to do with them.
so whenever, Steve, when he was married with Rosemary, Lynn was he said him and Lynn would never talk, just like how he was talking about. They would never, even if they were in the same car, he would say, tell him to take me wherever, you know. But they were at the same car. He said, I never understood that until he started really getting into it. And then they started, then he understood that. It's kind of the same thing. They didn't talk to each other. Wasn't until later on, that he had to, he said, I had to talk to him, and then we talked, and he will never stop talking, like, because they were talking about Pawnee stuff.
Yeah.
That's where Steve kind of got most of his language from, was Lynn Rice. But yeah, you remember that sense. It gets confusing when you get above this level, and when you get out this way, when you get into like white man's way, that your cousins, your second cousins, or
Twice removed and all that.
yeah, it's confusing in English. Like, I don't understand that. I never understood that. But once you start getting branching out further, it does something weird where it like reverts to aunts and uncles. That's why you get aunts and uncles younger than you. Something like that.
Can you read that? I can't.
Oh yeah, we'll bring it up here. We'll bring it up here.
All
So
right, because I was like,
after I do these last words, and we'll get into that. Zach will get into that. So this is going on. We're talking about Diwa. He said kind of like come from that Peter Walnut, kind of like a heaven or like a special person, and this chick's like a Jodix, like a special person. That's that Diwa chicks. Diwa, same way. Again, you kind of lean toward the male term back in the day, Diwa. So, a couple more words and then we'll do this. Put a family tree. We'll go around the room if anybody wants to share. Up to you. Okay, so I think we just got the Tiki, right? Okay. Everybody, Tiki. Son, my son, never really know your, I guess. Tiki. Then the daughter, Jua. We've also heard it. Jua, kind of like a W sound. Jua. That's what we're talking about, these two right here. And then, these ones just for your own, right? These ones, juiced it, right? Those ones held up, juiced it, go to hoose, jump up, beat. Those ones, pretty common. These ones are really common, especially when you start joking around people, juiced it. I told it last week exactly how I went to OU, we could talk about people right in front of them, but about them. That just me and Zach knew. Juice it, kudos all the time. The two main ones we went to. There's juice it right here. There's kudos. They don't. That's a good thing about learning language, I guess. So shouldn't be a good thing, just a bonus, I guess. Okay, so Zach's going to explain this right here, and we'll go around the room. So if you want, could you go first, or how you want to do it? We'll put it up here. Everybody can see. So these are the terms we all went over. Everybody see that? Read that thing. Yeah.
When I was in school, all my classmates used to say, how come you got so many grandpas? I don't know how to explain it to you.
You wouldn't understand. Okay, so did you want what? You're loud enough until the heat kicks on, then it's hard to hear. So
Yeah,
we went over all these words.
Yeah, so these are all the words Kay went over right here. Just a little family tree. I'll kind of fill this out. And it just says male right now, but we can kind of change that real quick. Right, we just had to change some words out. So I'll come and just put my name. So that's me, my dad right here, and Diaz, right? James, mom right here, Kelly, and Dita. And then my mom's dad, his name's Ken. And then my grandma, Donna.
If you know their band order.
Okay, yeah. Mom, Charlie, I'll say also Second Fox and Oak Grove.
Hey, Pawnee, did you hear that?
Okay, yeah, he's.
Okay,
So we got
alright.
Charlie, and we got Basukara, right? Oto, and then Sakiwa, Second Fox. So my grandpa here, he's not in it. Try to stop it in it. Grandma, Pawnee, Oto, Second Fox, same as mom. My mom has a sister. Her name is Margaret. I'm gonna just put Marge. All right, she would be my Adita. That's her sister, so she's also my mom. And she's got 2 brothers, James, and then David. Yeah, duo genetics. So they're my duo genetics, James and David. And I'll jump over here to Dad's side real quick. His mom, Sharon, Ski, and then,
What Herb says anyway.
and then,
So we got the cheese.
and then, Grandpa Dennis here, at Deepa. Dennis Nachi, Ski. Dad's got, no sisters, brothers. Got John Knife Chief, and then Charles. Dad wants stuff to read. Charles Knife Chief. A lot of Johns and Charles on the Knife Chief side. So
And Dennis's.
yeah, and Dennis's, and then another James too. So kind of confusing. Kind of confusing.
But they're all the same.
Those names.
So I'll jump down here. I don't have any brothers.
What's your middle name, Zach?
My middle name is James, so there's another one. So there's another one. I'm like, okay, are you talking about me or this guy? I'm gonna tell them. I just got one sister. Her name's Gwen. And then I have no kids. She's got 2 boys.
Yeah.
Gabe and Mason. So my D-Wop, both of them. And then she had a daughter, right? Did the same way too, D-Wop. Moving out this way. So Uncle Charlie here. No. Uncle Charlie's got a bunch of kids too. But anyway, so all their kids, right? If they're boys, they're my brothers, right? Too many for me to remember too. Yeah. So, John Michael, right? He's under here. Dennis is under here.
Charlie.
Another Charles, little Charlie's under here.
Yeah. Half Mexican one.
Whole bunch, so lots of bros.
All boys.
Yeah, lots of bros from Uncle John.
I never girls are.
Then Uncle Charlie, he has Lene. So there's one sister, right? Etahi, Skidi, Etahi, South Bend. So I got Lene here. Then there's Elizabeth, Davy, Emma. So there's 4 girls. And then the youngest one, James.
Yeah, his wife said, last chance to get a boy.
So another James. So
Sure enough,
another
we got a
James
boy.
right here.
And then he names him James. Good name though.
Yeah. So I got lots of brothers and sisters right here. And then just Lene has kids in it.
Yeah. 2 girls and a boy.
And so I got more nephews and nieces here on this side. D-Wop, right? Because she's my sister, just like my own sister. I have no grandchildren that I know of. And so yeah, it kind of cuts off right here. Kind of makes sense though a little bit.
So what would you call tell, like, your niece and nephew, if they had kids, what would they be to you?
They'd be your grandkids.
Okay.
Oh, God, no.
I'm just asking
Say
questions.
it again.
No, I just inherited a bunch of
Say it again,
grandkids.
Jamie.
Like, if Jay and Mason, they got older and they had kids, what would that be to them?
To Zach, okay.
This is where me and Terry are confusing you. And we might be confused on the South Bend and CD too, because we don't know if they're the exact same. Can you remember what we were thinking? Is something different?
I mean, it may be, but I mean, as far as I remember, it was just grandkids.
Was it?
But I mean, there may be something there that was lost, like how we have with this other stuff, you know, that we're talking about, that maybe the people of that time, it was too confusing, and they just kind of adopted, well, there's my grandkids, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever. So-
More research. When we, or if we find out, we'll let you guys know.
All right, so let me get this straight. My sister's kids are my grandkids.
Yes.
Kids.
I would say
You don't
there's the
think?
right man.
Yeah, that's right now, yeah.
That's right
We'll go with
now.
that.
That's the alcohol.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah. And if it changes, we'll let you know,
Just
yeah.
call me Matt till I find out for real.
Did you wanna do your study?
Everybody wanted to go.
You wanna go up here? Just kinda erase all this red here.
If it wasn't gonna be just grandkids, what would it be? What's the other option?
We're talking about when it was this. When it goes back to like,
That's your sister.
yeah, we're unsure.
What about their
We haven't
sister?
come across like a full detailed family tree. Yeah. Me and Zach have tried to make one where all these lines, but it gets us nowhere. It gets us more confused. There's not a clear-cut answer is what we found so far. Yeah,
I know with other tribes, kinship, I'll just throw it out, a lot of this is similar, like, because my son was Ho-Chunk, then I learned their kinship up there because I lived amongst them, and then I wanted to know why is this your relative and that, so they had their kinship chart, you know, already made out, and they explained it, but the thing that I found was that they're, on the male side, like once you have that uncle stays your uncle, his son is your uncle, his son's son is your little uncle, and that uncle stays in that relationship all the way down.
Yeah, there's something.
So
that
it
has
was
to-
like, kinda, made it where, you know, you always,
Always knew
it,
that.
yeah, it stayed, because like, they used to tease him, and, cause he was born, they called him the baby, Dago was their word for their uncle, their day, and it held the same as what Herb was saying about our Tiwachitiks here, it's the same thing up there, you know, the Daga, and then that was your fear word as a child, cause your Daga was the one who disciplined your children. So anytime they acted up and you couldn't call, well, I'm gonna call your Daga, then it was the instant thing that the child straightened up, cause they feared their Daga, but still they had to have that respect and and it was a two-way street, and they were told that, you fear your Daga, you do for your Daga, but your Daga does for you too. And so but that stayed that same way all the way through. And then it was the same thing, the fathers, brothers were all the fathers. And then the mothers were all the mothers. So on your mother's side, all of your aunties or whatever, on your mother's side, them were your mothers, and all their children were your brothers and sisters. Then when they had children, then it was the male and the female, it was you had more uncles that came in on that next step of the relationship. So it just kind of kept going like that. But it was just something that I noticed that term never did change. Once the uncle was there, it was that way through their whole relationship. I mean, through their whole lives. The uncles always stayed, and they passed on, kind of like passed on their uncleship to the men. And then the men, you know, it just went on down. But that was just, you know, something that, and then so I always wondered when I came back home, I said, I wonder if our kinships are like that. And then now I'm finding out, well, we had a similar kinship chart, more or less. So a lot of things are similar.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's kind of where me and Tay were leaning. with some of the ski stuff, just because we have the documentation for it, it changes that there. And it really changes when it's between a male and a female. Like that's where you get, that, like you said, kind of inherit uncleship or auntship kind of. We know it kind of does that out here. Like Dida and Diaz all the way down. Yeah.
On the ski side.
Yeah, that's what we're still trying to
Yeah.
find on South Bend, for sure.
And another thing that I forgot to mention too was sister. So I was told you're never supposed to disrespect your sister, or your sisters, because they said that they own the home, or at some point in time they'll own homes, and then so a man could always lose his home or his wife or whatever. He had to have some place to go back. And it was with sisters. They'll cook for you. They'll support you and all your stuff. And likewise, you're supposed to help with their kids and things like that. But you're not supposed to ever mistreat your sister.
I'll do mine, and then anybody wants to go. What we found about this is when we do this, you're not only understanding it, but you're kind of seeing who's related to who. You know, oh, I didn't know you were related to that person, or I didn't know they had whatever. So, me, my dad, Alan Moore, his mom, Neva Force Chief, Skeety Kitgonky, Dad Thurman Moore, Basuda, yeah, that's it. Alexander, Oto. Brothers, Steve, Ron, tough combo right there. Steve and Ron. My sisters, Nancy, Neva, Denise. This one is the only one I call Auntie. I thought that was her name, Auntie. I know it was Neva for a long time. And they called her Auntie. But on this side, it's the only one I call Auntie. Call her Denise, Nan, Steve, Ron. Going this way, that's him. It looks right. Sammye. Close. I was supposed to say it. And Sam. And then you got her. My mom, Stella Adson, Andy Adson, Kataka. I think it's how we spelled it. Kataka. Now, Georgia May, Pawnee, Petawada, and then get into my brother, Joe, and his son, Adrian, would be my Diki. Gaki sisters. Gaki kids that I know. Pull that aside. No, I'm just joking. Or Gaki. So that's kind of where I go. If I had a sister, they had kids, that's where I'd have my T-Lot. Like Zach had, right there. Right there. And my dad, all right. So that's kind of my family tree. Get into the kids right here, kids right here, kids right here, kids right there. So there's mine. I think last time we went one step forward, but we call this just a Deepa Kutsu. It's kind of big. That's kind of based off of English. This is kind of where we go right now. Kataka, Fisha Hamadaka, Ski, Kitaki, Tony, let's do that. That's kind of where all we're acting from. Questions? On mine? Good. Oh yeah, he's in here. Tony's in here, right here. Tony Green. He's in there. He's in there. I'll put him up there. He's in there. Good uncle. Put it right next to Ron and Steve.
That's right.
So, yeah, brother, right here. Joe, Eden. We got the sister-in-law term, but we'll do that once they pick back up, and
Oh, yeah.
because there's a couple of them in-law terms. Yeah, when Star did hers was, it went everywhere. So, anybody want to go up here? Anybody want to volunteer? You come up here, or we can write it. You just tell me the names and Zach will write it. Just read it. Preferably a female. So we can go, switch the terms out a little bit.
I need a bigger board for mine.
Volunteer? Jamie's volunteering, all right. Zach will switch it up a little bit. Because there's just some terms that slightly change.
She was saying earlier, if I misunderstood, the oldest sister is called House.
Yeah,
Do you know why?
because she's older, she should take care of her siblings and the family.
That's just like I was talking.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, when you said that, it jumped out at me, and then what you were saying about not making fun of your sisters. Because like the oldest sister would, like a long time ago, would inherit the earth lodge.
See, I'm the oldest sister
Yeah.
of the Morse family. So I inherited all my sister's children and my nephew's children, they're mine. And I'm to take care of them the best I can. Just like this past week, I had to go beyond thing to take care of my niece. And that's my job as a aunt. I had to do that, I had to step up to the podium.
Okay.
I just thought that was interesting with what he was saying and what you were saying.
Then, going back to like Fabian was talking about, okay, it goes back female, your aunt's kids would be your aunt. That's why a lot of times, say like Nora Pratt, she would say, "You're my little mama." And it was confusing at a time, and I had to ask my mother, how come I'm just a kid and she's calling me mama? How she explained it to me.
And that's just like the relationship you had with Nora. There was something there, and I always say that's a Ski-Dee thing. Them guys knew that.
Because my mother was Ski-Dee, and my father lived over there. But the one that really kind of tutored me was a Ski-Dee. Charlie and Sam Allen.
Okay, so Jamie will tell us what to write. So, put Jamie right there. This is a female. What you'll notice is that we erased the T-one, right? Because she's not going to call her niece or nephew, she's going to call them son or daughter. But we'll go ahead and start, so.
I got two adoptees, Josh Big Bear Hand and Joe Knowles. And Josh has two kids. Gemma's the girl and Journey's the boy, or Tiki.
Good.
Yeah. Close enough. No kids, no sisters. My mother is Cecilia Hawkins. And then Diaz is Joe mom's siblings, she has, or my tita is Mary Hawkins, and then Chicks is Gray and Paul.
Now the James.
He goes by Grant.
I'm out. Thanks.
Drop it real quick. And then my mom's dad, or my diva is, I can't remember if his name's John Hawkins or James Hawkins. James.
Another James.
I know. And then these talk stuff.
Good job, CS.
And then my
That's
other,
always eating.
my Adika is Rilla Hawkins. I'm just assuming she's Speedy, but I'm not 100% sure. And then on my dad's side, my Diaz's are Tony and Daryl. And then he had a sister named Leanne.
Creek.
They don't have any kids, I don't think they even do. And I just know my grandma, my dad's side, her name's Emma. She's been And then I have a lot of Adotties and Adotsties on my Aunt Marion side. And my Uncle Rick too.
Times 10.
Like 12 Adotties, 4 Adotties.
Yeah, so does that make sense, kind of why we think it's a male term, Diwa, or Diwa? Kind of see that as a male term, because Jamie wouldn't call them niece and nephews if they're calling her mom. She would call them son and daughter. That makes sense? That's kind of why we're leaning towards it. We need to put it up there. Questions? Anybody want to go? Anybody else want to go? It's not making sense to you, the kinship terms. This will make it a little bit more clear. If anybody wants to go.
All right, I'll go.
All right, all right. Bring another board over here.
My mom had 11 children.
Oh.
She had 11 children.
Extra lines.
Right, real small now.
Initials. Let's do initials.
We could just, a lot of my siblings have passed away. These are the ones that are still here.
Okay. How are we gonna do it? So who's you?
Okay, me and I'm going where?
Either way, wherever you want to go. Brothers, sisters, mom, dad.
Okay, brothers, 2 brothers. Morgan and
Oh,
Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have 4 sisters. I have Jean, Ethel, Becky, and Susan.
Yeah. Yeah. For her. For her. Yeah.
Becky and Susan.
Down or up?
Let's go up. Okay, my kiddo was Fern, she was Ponca and Otto.
What's the
F,
F-E-R-N.
F-E-R-N, Fern.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the name?
Let's see that. Otto.
Yeah. And my mom had 4 brothers, no sisters. she had a James.
Everybody's got one, I guess.
He was a junior. James, there was Emery, Morris. Buster. Okay, she had no sisters. So then, of course, they had a lot. Then my dad was Morgan. And then he had 4 brothers. There's George. There was a James Jr. Tommy. Oh, he had, there was a Bill and a Bob. Yeah, I think. But he had two sisters, Colleen and Elaine. Colleen. Yeah, Colleen and Elaine. Okay, and then my dad's dad was James. And then my grandma was Lucy. Band guitar. She's a Morgan, Lucy was a Morgan, Megan's Morgan. And then my mother's father's name was James. Yeah.
Battling families.
And then her mother's name was Florence. Yeah. Florence was the Oto, she was an Archicada. And James was the Papa, his last name was Roy. Roy or Leroy, I was related to Jarvis. And then I guess that what you need. Does it go down to?
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one son, Doug. And then I have 3 daughters, Famie, Mikai, and Rosa. No grandkids from Doug. The little thing has 5, 4 boys and 1 girl. We got, I know, that's
That's what I just
and then you guys got 3 boys and 1. New grandson. Yeah, she got him on Saturday. Yeah, he's got an Omaha name. Oh, let's see. It means rain. Dang, I've been practicing it all this time. I just went play.
And then, yeah, they're kids, you see how you're calling them son or daughter, you see that?
Morgan and Patrick.
Yeah, whatever kids they got there. Yeah, same way on this side, would be your sons and daughters. See you. So that's the main point we kind of wanted is kind of the females will have sons and daughters, the males will have sons and daughters or nephews and nieces. We put this up here at Deep just for there, but yeah. Any other questions? Got key. Make sense? Make a little bit more sense. Good. We'll take a little break and we'll start pick back up. So, what we're talking about is God and Adrian asked about that. If that was specifically Navajo, no, that's just what we're using. Kyle Apaches. And all lost me book. Kyle Apaches kind of what it was talking about, and it kind of got generalized for any kind of Western tribe. Any kind of Western tribe. Gutberka. So that's what we use for Dene, anybody out there. That's kind of that's what we would use. Gutberka. I'm going to review these basic colors, and then Zach will get into these ones. Those who weren't here last time. A lot of people were gone last time, so anyway, that's how we'll finish up. So try to stay in Pawnee. We'll try. Those of you who've been here before, help the other group out. So kitty. Good. Everybody, D-Kadiki. Kitty. Good. D-Duckus. Everybody, D-Duckus. Kitty. D-Two-Bits. Quarter. 2 bits. Right? 2 bits. Dime. You gonna do this one? Good. Data sets. Good. Penny. Good. Get it. D pop pitches spot. Everybody, pop pitches spot. D pop pitches spot. Red metal. Kitty Casey. Good. City Gritty. Everybody, City Gritty. D Gritty. City Gritty. Good. 2 quarters. Kitty Casey. Good. Oh, gosh. Not yet. Get like a 50-cent piece out. 2 quarters. So we got D2 bits. Everybody, D2 bits. Sit D2 bits. Good. Oh, Adrian said, yeah, 50 cents. You cut half. Remember we went over, did we go over that? We might have just touched on it. Oh, yeah. Advanced. That camera's on. Kirikisu. That's blue. That's good. 2 dimes. So we'll do CD. Yeah, you're saying today's, which is what? Blue. Good. Okay. Everybody say D-Dedicits. D-Dedicits. Sit-D-Dedicits. Sit-D-Dedicits. Good. Kitty.
Oh, keep up, it's just.
Good. He got mad. He was in there. I got it. Deep up bitches butt. Sit deep up bitches butt. Good. Up at this one. Kitty Casey. Good. Everybody, sit deep up this. Okay, we're good. We're remembering. Okay, 3 of them now. Kitty K diet. You guys remember that one? Diet. Good. Diet Kadiki. D Kadiki. City Kadiki. Diet Kadiki. Good. Guys see how that's working? If I had, so we got, if I had 1,000 rocks right here, it's still going to be Diet Kadiki. Good. This one? Everybody, D2 bits. City two bits. Good. Kitty K diet or kitty key diet. Good. Kitty K, that's always. Good. Tikirapa, right? What color is it? Tikirapa. Okay, sorry. Go back. I'll go back to the original. Okay. 3 of them. There's 3 diets. Kitty K diet. Kitty K diet. Good. Data sets in South Bend too. All right. Data sets. CD?
What I said the first time, data sets?
Yeah.
Data sets?
Good. Data sets. So that data sets is just trying to say 10 cents. 10 cents. Everybody after me, D pop bitches butt. City pop bitches butt. D it pop bitches butt. Good. Good, guys did good on that. Now the colors. Kitty K, that's always. Kitty K, that's always. We're right there. T-Dock-a-Dog. Everybody, T-Dock-a-Dog. But the other side. Kitty K, that's always. I was going for T-Dirty, she said. I was going for this color. Gods, right? Not Cotton. Gods. Everybody, D-Gods. Good. Kitty K, that's always. Good. Deepa. Good. Kitty K, that's always. D-Gotti, right? Everybody knows that. D-Gotti. This one. Kitty K, that's always. Good. Ski. Good. Kitty K, that's always. Good. Good, James. On the South Bend. Everybody, get it, Davis. Get it, Eagles. Good. Not following that. Kitty K, that's always. Good. D-Get-a-Pop. Everybody, D-Get-a-Pop. D-Get-a-Pop. Brown. If I had something to do.
Well, that's piney.
Cupcake.
Huh? The piney's kind of pinkish.
Okay, so Kitapah, remember it's that spectrum between brown and pink, that color. There's not just a word for pink, not just a word for brown, all Kitapah. Same thing with this one. Kitadate is kind of like a lighter bluish color, so we're talking about. But we went over all the colors. Kitadatus. What am I saying? Kitadatus. Is it green? Right? Kitadatus. Kaki. Kitty Kitadatus. Good. Everybody follow along with me? I asked you if it was green. Kitadatus. Kaki. I asked you, Kitty Karakati. Oh, out, tikati, good. Karakirapa. Karakirapa. Kaki. Good, deepa. Good. Karakirations. Kaki, kirkiratralis. Tikats, good. Karaktericus. Good. Kararakata. Good. Questions? Questions on any of that we did? As a quick amount of Pawnee in a short amount of time. But you guys understand it. If you don't know the exact answer, you guys know what I'm asking. You guys know what I'm asking. That's what we want. Questions? Kaki? Okay. Back to the star chart. Okay. Meditate. Okay, so that's going to go over those colors that didn't quite fit that basic 8. The basic 8, which is gray, black, red, white, yellow, blue, green, brown. So that's going to go over these other colors. Those are the basic 8 we like to call them. These are the ones that are a little different. They follow a little different pattern.
First one, is it orange or a deep yellow color? No word for orange, sorry.
Don't worry.
Carada Siscati. We got Kati. Dada Siscati. Carada Siscati. Good. And then it is orange. Here's where they're kind of changing. This is kind of why we didn't do them with the others. Data Siscati. Data Siscati. And Skivi, Dita Siscati. It isn't orange. Southwind, Calcata Siscati. Calcata Siscati. And then Skivi here, Calcata Siscati. Calcata Siscati. And then for you, those of y'all who weren't here last week, I'm gonna write, it is orange right here. Try to explain why it's different than these others here. My, she wants to do. Data Siscati. Yeah, it is orange. Confusing me because it's written in blue. This is kind of the part here that's a little different here. We're normally used to that, right? D, Kati. Other one study. D Tadeus.
Even into the rock and stick.
Yeah, right. Rock and stick. D Grekki. D Ruckus. So we're real used to this one here. And kind of the reason this one changes here is if we want to just say like our word for orange by itself, it's Adasiskati. Adasiskati. And if you kind of remember me last week, it's kind of goofy when we add sounds together. It kind of turns into that Dadasiskati. Yeah. So instead of saying Di Adasiskati, kind of just blur it together. Dadasiskati. Does that kind of make sense a little bit? And then for skiti, right, we just don't use this sound. That's the only one we got to use. Dadasiskati. Does that help or is that more confusing? Good. Same way now for, if we put kaki on here, right? Kakidasis. Kind of used to those. Kind of do it like that. So same way. We're used to kaki, kind of these sounds, and then we just blur it. Kakedasiskati. And then be, it is not, right? It is not. It's something's not orange. Kakedasiskati or kakidasiskati. So everybody that's asking for orange, this is kind of why we held off. Kind of why we held off. Probably just get rid of it, honestly. Uh-huh. Language, no, never heard that.
So where did you get those stuff from?
Parks' book is where he recorded Adasiskati.
You know, he would get recordings from several different speakers. So sometimes he'd have like a DM for Dolly Moore or something, another initial. I always thought, because I've ran across other words like that. I think they're still the same, it's just how they say it. It's just a little different. So he's probably two pronunciations from two different people. And so that's my thought.
Yeah, for the, where it turns into the A sound. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
We will say that orange, we talked about this last week, udages, right? That's a lot of people heard that, udages. So this is kind of why a lot of people thought this was orange, but parts, for whatever reason, in this part, he put fruit as the fruit only. But in this one, gissuits, which is grapes, he put grape or purple. So this is going to be a decision on us if we want to use this for the color orange as well, because this one is talking about fruit and color. But this one he was kind of adamant about saying this is fruit only. So that's kind of where our dilemma is. It's where we need to decide if we want to use that as fruit or both.
There's a phrase, and I can't think of it right now, but it has that in there, and it references fruit, and it is something that tastes good. That's what it means, something that tastes good, and it means for any kind of fruit. It doesn't mean oranges or, it could be peaches, it could be,
So we can say oranges and that tastes good.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to look into that, yeah.
I'll see if I can find that phrase at home.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a phrase.
Yeah, so if you've heard this, this is just trying to say oranges. Oranges. You're trying to say it in Pawnee. Oranges. 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 Yeah. Oranges. So we're still, we haven't decided yet, but this is the best one we can do. Adasiskati. Adasiskati. Yeah, it's close. Adasis, adachis. Yeah. Yeah. So what that literally translate, so those who were here last time, the adasiskati is talking about, when we break it down, cooked, dark, and kind of the best way we can kind of describe it is if you take a piece of paper and then you kind of light it on fire, it's that little orange tint. That's what we think it's talking about. hard. That's what it's talking about. When you break it down into language, cooked dark. That's what we got right now, so. Yeah, yeah, what it looks like when you're burning it. Might do the Davis got to.
So we're gonna skip over these ones, kind of come.
It makes a little bit more sense.
So those ones we skipped over, though.
Oh, question.
You're saying other is fruit in general, correct?
No, it's just the fruit. Other just talking about oranges.
So you think oranges
It's the
or
fruit orange,
Yeah.
not necessarily the color.
Yeah. Does that make sense? It's the actual fruit, not the color. The actual fruit of orange.
Nuances is just copy.
Got that? And then the color.
So you just tell me there's fruit, so tell me,
Oh, fruit in general?
Yes.
That's a different word.
that's what I'm asking.
That's always talking about.
That's what we was talking about.
We can't remember what the word.
Yeah.
I was just saying that Grandpa Lynn used to tell me there was a phrase that he used to hear through the kids all the time. It's talking about fruit in general, things that taste good.
Right.
And it could be anything, peaches, oranges, you know, berries or whatever, you know. It's something that kind of sweet.
Yeah.
So what's that word?
I can't think of it right now. I'll see if I can find it. I'll probably think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our Mountain Road.
yeah.
Man.
But it's got that other cheese in it though.
I need a little English class in it.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook.
I remember it.
Yeah, when you drive it.
The Hawaki is what he asked for, fruit in general, all fruit. The Hawaki. There's probably other words, but that's the one we found right off the bat.
That's what Doug's got.
Yeah. I'll see what it breaks down to.
So another thing about that, where it says things that taste sweet, that taste good, that doesn't mean candy.
Yeah.
It means fruit.
Different. Yeah. Yeah, taste different, taste strange,
Because
taste
they
delicious.
didn't have candy.
So with this word right here, the Hawaki, what that's breaking down to is it tastes different, it tastes strange, it tastes, yeah, unique's a good word. That's what that breaks down to, a unique taste, delicious taste, sweet taste or something like that. That's what that breaks down to.
Yeah, okay.
The Hawaki.
You've heard that phrase kind of, do dahari, kind of has that part. Daha, taste.
Taste, yeah.
So they told me that the fruit was it wasn't a everyday thing. It was like
Yeah.
gosh, I can't think of the word. It was like a treat. Yeah, not, you didn't have fruit all the time. Like you go to the grocery store and get you some fruit or whatever. Not everybody had that. So it was like,
Orange, isn't it?
yeah.
I mean, up there in Nebraska, they have real oranges.
I've heard Uncle Herb say that, sweats. Remember you talking about that? When we have sweats, Uncle Herb talks about is that those old folks used to say that was something special. That fruit, you know, you wouldn't just get it like how we do now. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Good. I'll just leave that right there. Those other 10 I skipped over.
It has that same udices.
Yeah, it has that same udices, so it's a little bit confusing. These ones are a little more straightforward here. They mean the same colors we're gonna go over though, the dark blues and dark reds. So our word for dark blue, we kind of notice this one, tereus or terius, right? Blue. We're just gonna throw that kati on the back. And in this instance, it's just gonna mean dark. right? We know that's black too. Tadeus kati. Tadeus kati. Good.
Which is dark blue.
Dark blue, yeah, dark blue. Right, we got a word for blue. And we're kind of using that as dark there. Dark blue. If we want to make it into a question, kind of just going to add this. Kada tadeus kati. Is it dark blue? That's kind of what that means. Kada tadeus kati. If we want to answer it, just going to take that out and put di tadeus kati. Di tadeus kati. Right? This is why me and Tay kind of like these a little bit better. Little,
It follows that pattern we've learned already.
yeah. Di tadeus kati. It's dark blue. It isn't. Just gonna add kaki. Kaki tadeus kati. Good, good. It's not dark blue. Good. A little more straightforward on these, yeah, little better. Just forget those other ones. Just let orange go, guys.
So based on that one, dark red. It is dark red. How do we say that? Good. Deep hot kati. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So di tadeus kati was dark blue. Di hot kati, dark red. Dark red. Di kati kati.
Right there,
Black, blue, then.
this one's long. Kaki. There we go. Deep hot kaki. Dark red.
Dark red.
Good.
Someone said kati kati. Di kati kati.
Can't see you.
Oh, purple. Last one would be purple.
Purple, oh yeah.
Not related to that. But the color from the decade. Kakurahe over here.
How did we do that? So first you got buppa. Is that way? Right there, just trying to say purple. Purple, buppa. The other one's that one Tay said earlier. Gisu. Purple or grape. Gisu.
Or get suits. Yeah.
Yeah. Or we can make this word even longer, which we like to do up here. Because why not? Gesuits gururu. Gururu, yeah. Try to say that one.
So if you want to go light, you use.
Jamie says
Yeah. So karuru. Be careful. We talked about this last week. Not kariru. Karuru. Karuru. Be careful. That one vowel changes that whole meaning. Gesuits karuru.
Gesuits gururu.
Gesuits karuru.
Gesuits gururu.
Gesuits.
Gesuits.
Or the old standby. Buh, buh, buh. If you want to know. What was the question over here? Okay, so we had a question, what about light? That's that get up. Get up hot. Get up hot, like a, it's that spectrum. We say it's spectrum, but that get is talking about light red. Even that get a deus. Skidadoo, that's really, when you break that down, it's like a light blue, but it's talking about green. We didn't have these specific colors like we do now in English. It was like more of like a spectrum. That's all.
Here's another one. We always use geekadoos for good morning.
Mhm.
That's an actual color.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about, that spectrum. So when you go back up to that one you had there, that dark blue or whatever, you have part of that in there. So I don't know if that's how you guys would break that down or whatever, but that geekadoos.
Right here. What you talking about?
Yeah, might be.
So
I
that,
think it's just the blue, the like the days.
Okay, yeah.
Like the days and stuff. So when I asked about that, I said, does that mean good morning? They said, no, they don't mean good morning. I said, well, what does it mean? They said, when that sun's just, you don't see the sun yet, the sun's starting to come up, there's like a light blue colored glow, bluish color, that's what that means.
yeah. So it's like the early morning, early morning. That's what that's talking about, is those different colors. Yeah, like dawn. The sun's not up yet. That's what that's referencing.
Dawn color.
Geekadoos. A lot of people like to say morning, like a greeting, which is all right. We're using the language.
Right.
Geekadoos. South Bend, everybody, geekadoos. That's what it's talking about, is those colors. You get up that early.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah, or just getting in. Questions on the colors? Good.
South Bend. Which one? The bottom one?
You tell me. Bottom, good. South Bend. Because of this right here. Because of this one right here, this A sound. Skeety will have this one. Any other questions? Any other questions? But you got the answer right. That was a good thing. You got the answer right. Got any questions? Okay, there's a lot to go over. You guys did good. Next week, Dottie's birthday. Bitsy Doit Cocky. You guys remember our numbers? Doit Cocky. 17. 17 years old. Doit Cocky. That'll be our last class. That'll be our last class. So if you guys want to bring cake or little snacks, that'd be all right. What we'll go over is what are we going to go over?
What did we say?
I think it was that last one, someone said food.
Yeah, someone's about that.
So we'll go over some nouns, just some nouns. And then once we get back in January, we'll get into like, what do you like to eat? What are you hungry? Stuff like that. But next one should be nouns, and then I'll bring those ping pong balls. I forgot it today. But I'll bring them. That's how we do our colors. Yeah, stars are chant. Stars are chant. Whenever we have that glass bowl, stars are the only one that make it. So, questions? Kaki, asku, saku, waripski, kustun